This is macOS Ken.
A couple of takes on the Bloomberg story, a new high price target for Apple, and a surprising supposition around App Store payments. It is Friday, the 3rd of December, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Notion. One workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. What makes this week's Bloomberg story on iPhone production cuts so questionable? I told you Thursday of a story from the financial publication that had secret people saying Apple had told suppliers that demand for iPhone has slowed. The piece said the company told component suppliers that demand for the iPhone 13 lineup has weakened, signaling that some consumers have decided against trying to get the hard-to-find item. The secret so-and-sos are said to have said that folks are giving up on iPhone 13, that sales missed this quarter will not be made up next quarter, as most analysts and industry watchers have figured would be the case. The Macalope sort of summed up my skepticism in an opinion piece that was republished by Apple 3.0. After reports of iPhone production cuts due to declining interest, the Macalope wrote, "It's that time again. Yes, it's December. So it's time for receiving annual gifts that no one wants. Fruitcakes, holiday sweaters, and news that Apple has cut iPhone orders." Look, the piece goes on to say, this is not exactly the first time that this has happened. It happens around this time of year because Apple ramps up orders for launch in the fall and holiday season and then cuts back on orders for the post-holiday quarter. For some reason, this is shocking every year because analysts and Business Insider writers are like babies and do not remember things exist when they do not see them right in front of their eyes. Kinda harsh. I'm not saying it's not fair, but here's the punchline. That is from a piece posted 6 years ago yesterday. It was in response to stories of waning interest in iPhone 6s. But hey, it's another year that ends in December. Think of it as an annual tradition, as that 6-year-old piece indicates. Not buying the Bloomberg hype was Raymond James analyst Chris Casso. Apple 3.0 posted part of a note he wrote. He was bothered by the report's ambiguities. Historically, wrote the analyst, the best gauge of demand has been the production forecast and whether that forecast is increasing or decreasing. The article doesn't mention changes to the production forecast, but only that Apple has reportedly told suppliers that demand has slowed, which is a more ambiguous statement. For his part, Casso says his firm has not heard of any changes to iPhone production plans. Given the evidence from delivery times and carrier subsidies, the analyst says, he and his are not ready to agree with the conclusions in the Bloomberg report. Casso has a buy rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $175. An unsurprising switch for Apple and the markets on Thursday. It was notable earlier this week when the Dow, the Nasdaq, and lots of big tech stocks dropped while Apple soared. The Bloomberg report seems to have generated a sort of opposite day. The Dow ended up nearly 618 points on Thursday. The Nasdaq closed up 127. Apple shares ended the day off $1.01. That's practically flat. At about the same time the Bloomberg story was hitting Wednesday evening, Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives was hitting with a note of his own. Thanks again to Apple 3.0 for posting part of that note. I would say he is as bullish as ever, though you might actually have to say he's more so since he used the midweek missive to raise his price target on Apple shares. This he did on increased confidence in the iPhone 13 growth cycle into 2022. Quoting his note, "Our iPhone 13 checks continue to be much stronger than expected, with our belief that Apple is now on pace to sell north of 40 million iPhones during the holiday season, despite the chip shortage headwinds. The focus of the street has been on the lingering chip shortage for Apple and every other tech and automotive player. However, the underlying iPhone 13 demand story for Cupertino, both domestically and in China, is trending well ahead of street expectations, in our opinion." Reminiscent of Needham & Company analyst Laura Martin's note earlier this week about investors buying Apple as a flight to quality, Ives sees Apple shares as a safety blanket name in a near-term market storm, with waters churned by Omicron and macroeconomic concerns. "Apple remains a top tech name to own," writes the analyst, adding, "Our favorite large-cap tech name to play the 5G transformational cycle is Apple, with the 1-2 punch of its massive services business and iPhone product cycle translating into a $3 trillion market cap for Cupertino during 2022, in our opinion." Mr. Ives has an outperform rating on Apple shares. He used Wednesday's note to up his price target on the shares from $185 to a street high $200. Well, here's something that's probably not going to go over too well. If Apple is forced to allow developers to link from their apps to external payment methods and processors, Apple may still try to take a cut. 9to5Mac says a recent legal filing indicates just that. The filing is from Apple's appeal earlier this week to stay changes to the App Store that would require links to external payment processors. In it, Apple attorneys say, Epic suggests that Apple will not receive a commission on transactions that happen outside the app on which Apple has never charged a commission. That is not correct. Apple has not previously charged a commission on purchases of digital content via buttons and links because such purchases have not been permitted. If the injunction were to go into effect, Apple could charge a commission on purchases made through such mechanisms. That was posted on Twitter by developer and developer advocate David Barnard. His timeline has people debating whether this is something that Apple would do or just something that Apple could do. Barnard thinks Apple would. Meanwhile, Google has said it's gonna. According to 9to5Mac, Google has said it will allow developers to use alternative payment systems, but it intends to collect an 11% commission on those transactions regardless, only 4% cheaper than if the developer used the Google Play payment system directly. You know, this whole thing might end up in the careful what you wish for file. More news in a moment, but first a word from Notion. One workspace for your whole team. In business, you want to be able to move fast. Unless you work by yourself, though, speed can be a detriment if one person is speeding off on their own. Notion can help. Notion is an all-in-one team collaboration tool that combines note-taking, document sharing, wikis, project management, and much more into one space that is simple, powerful, and beautifully designed. With powerful integrations and seamless navigation, you'll have everything you need in one spot so you can make speed your advantage while making sure everybody is on the same page. For companies of all sizes, Notion provides one central and customizable workspace that can be tailored to fit any team and bring all teams together to get more done and move faster together. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. You can check it out on your own and invite as many folks as you want to see how it works. Take the first step toward an organized, happy team today, again, at notion.so. Work continues on the next round of software updates. Mac Rumors ran a few pieces on new betas on Thursday. According to the site, the fourth betas of iOS and iPadOS 15.2 are out to both developers and public testers. Fourth betas are also out for watchOS 8.3 and tvOS 15.2, though at the time of these articles, those appeared to be still for developers only. The Vince Vaughn Apple TV Plus series Bad Monkey has picked up a few co-stars. If you don't remember that one, a press release from Apple in August when the series was announced said, Bad Monkey tells the story of Andrew Yancey, a one-time detective demoted to restaurant inspector in southern Florida. A severed arm found by a tourist out fishing pulls Yancey into a world of greed and corruption that decimates the land and environment in both Florida and the Bahamas. And yes, there's a monkey. Vaughn is set to play Yancey in the series. He'll be joined by Michelle Monaghan of True Detective, Jodie Turner-Smith of Anne Boleyn, and Meredith Hagner of Vacation Friends. The series is being written and executive produced by Bill Lawrence, one of the driving forces behind Ted Lasso, so you gotta figure Apple's kinda stoked. Nominations are out for the Hollywood Critics Association Film Awards, and the Apple TV Plus film CODA is up for 9 of them. Apple Insider says the film is up for Best Original Song, Beyond the Shore, Best Indie Film, Best Adapted Screenplay by Cian Heder, Best Cast, Ensemble, Best Supporting Actor, Troy Kotsur, Best Supporting Actress, Marlee Matlin, Best Actress, Amelia Jones, Best Director, again, Cian Heder, and Best Picture. The awards will be handed out on the 8th of January 2022, which is just a little over a month from now, which is more than a little insane. You don't think about the Federal Communications Commission giving out awards, but apparently it does. Apple Insider says the FCC's 11th Annual Chairs Award for Advancement in Accessibility has been announced, with Apple among its only 3 winners. Alongside accessible pharmacy services for the blind and the COVID ASL hotline, Apple's iOS 14 won for its many accessibility features. The piece says the commission shouted out 4 accessibility features in particular: people detection in the magnifier app, group FaceTime recognizing a sign language participant and making their video more prominent, sound recognition that let iPhone listen for specific sounds like fire alarms and then alert the user, and voiceover recognition providing substantive description for websites and apps. This is Apple's second FCC Advancement in Accessibility Award. Apple Insider says the company was first honored all the way back in 2011 for its then new iPhone 4. And finally today, the week of awards from Apple continues. iDownload blog says Apple has revealed the 2021 App Store Awards. There are like 10 or 15 awards shouted out. Reading them to you would be amazingly boring for both of us. Instead, you can head to Apple's various app stores where winning apps are being highlighted. You can also read all about them in Apple's newsroom at apple.com/newsroom. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Notion. One workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.